The last time she said, "I'm fine," he believed her, and that was the beginning of the end. Not because he didn't love her, but because by then he had heard those two words so many times that they had stopped meaning anything. She would come home quiet. "I'm fine." She would stare at her phone during dinner. "I'm fine." She would sleep facing the other side of the bed. "I'm fine." And every time he would ask, "Are you sure?" she'd smile. "Yeah?" So eventually, he stopped asking. What he didn't know was that she wasn't expecting him to believe her. She was testing him, not intentionally. She just wanted to know if he could hear the difference between her "I'm fine" and everyone else's. Because when she was actually fine, she talked too much. She laughed loudly. She stole food from his plate. She complained about stupid things. But when she said, "I'm fine," quietly, that was the version of her that was drowning. And he didn't know that. One night she came home at 11:47. She took off her shoes, put her bag down, and stood in the kitchen for almost a minute without moving. He was sitting on the couch. He looked at her. "Long day?" She nodded. "Yeah?" "You okay?" She looked at him. For a second she almost told him everything, about how exhausted she was, about the things she had been carrying alone, about how lonely she felt sitting beside the person she loved. But instead, she smiled. "I'm fine," he nodded. "Okay," and went back to his phone. That night she cried in the bathroom with the shower running, not because he didn't care, but because he had finally learned to respect the answer she'd been giving him. The next morning, he woke up to an empty side of the bed. There was a note on the pillow, just 3 words. "You believed me." Years later, he would still think about that sentence, because he finally understood something. She wasn't angry that he couldn't read her mind. She was angry that she had spent so long hoping he would. And he wasn't cruel for believing her. He was simply loving someone who had learned to hide pain behind words that sounded like honesty. Maybe that's the tragedy. Sometimes people don't leave because they stopped loving you. They leave after spending too long wondering, how many times can I say I'm hurting before you realize I'm not actually saying it? And sometimes the answer is, you have to say it before the person who loves you learns to believe you.